Hello. So yesterday you heard the second grade lesson, The Coming of Life. And so there's so much, right? There's things on this in the universe and on this planet, there's things that are living, we can classify as living, and things that are not living. Living things are people, animals, fish, plants. Non-living things would be like, our table, the couch we sit on, maybe the wood that makes the table that we're using to do our homework. Maybe that came from a tree that was once a living thing, but is no longer. So we're going to dive a little bit more deeply into living things. We have the animal kingdom and the plant kingdom. And we're going to focus today on the animal kingdom. So we can classify things. Scientists classify. And they classify living things into groups based on their similarities and differences. We've talked about comparing and contrasting. Comparing is when we look at how things are similar or alike. Contrasting is when we look at how things are different. And so this classification, there's quite a bit to it. We look at the kingdom, the phylum, the class, the order, the family, the genus, and the species. Why classify? Well, scientists classify living things by their characteristics. Why? Well, because it's easier to find and share information, and it's easy to classify new living things. Scientists we're still discovering new life. We're still discovering new species. So one way to think of it is how things are organized at the grocery store. Why do you think certain items are grouped next to each other? If you look here, you see the fruits, usually like all the apples are together in one row, kind of here in the center. Like most grocery stores are classified as this. And you have the produce section, all of your fresh fruits and vegetables. And you notice certain things. Next time you go to the grocery store, pay attention. See, why is it that certain things are grouped close to each other? It's the same thing with animals. How are things classified? Well, all living things belong to one of 5 kingdoms. So if you remember back before, that kingdom was up at the top. The kingdom is the largest group into which living things can be classified. So there are 5 kingdoms: animals, plants, fungi, protists, and bacteria. And we said we are going to focus on the animal kingdom today. But I wanted to give you this overview. The animal kingdom. So animals are made of many cells. They cannot make their own food. Animals depend on, whereas plants can make their own food, animals cannot. Animals have to either eat plants or eat other animals. So we can separate these animals into 2 groups: vertebrates or invertebrates. So vertebrates are animals with a backbone. We human beings, we are mammals and we are vertebrates. Feel your back. We have a backbone. And there are 5 groups within the vertebrates: amphibians, birds, fish, mammals, and reptiles. We human beings are mammals. Invertebrates are animals without a backbone. There are 8 groups of invertebrates: mollusks, flatworms, annelids, roundworms, sponges, echinoderms, cnidarians, and arthropods. So there is a lot to invertebrates. You can see here this snail. So I'm going to move my little head. Vertebrates versus invertebrates. Well, here we see a Venn diagram that you may have seen before when we want to compare and contrast things. So vertebrates and invertebrates, this middle part here is what they have in common. So I'm going to read the statement and we'll move it to where it goes. So be thinking where you would put it. So includes mammals, amphibians, reptiles, fish. Oh gosh, it's not going to let me move it, I guess. Hold on. That's annoying. I may not be able to be in presenting mode. I bet that's what's the deal. Hold on. All right, let's try this. Okay, hopefully you can see it. There, that helps. Okay, so includes mammals, amphibians, reptiles, fish, and birds. Well, we know that those are vertebrates. Is part of the animal kingdom. Well, invertebrates and vertebrates are both part of the animal kingdom. If you remember, the animal kingdom can be divided into two groups, vertebrates and invertebrates. Is made of many cells. If we remember back, animals are made of many cells, all animals, vertebrates and invertebrates. Includes mollusks, flatworms, annelids, and roundworms. Those are invertebrates. Has a backbone. Which one has a backbone? Think vertebrate, vertebrae. You have vertebrae on your backbone. Does not have a backbone. Well, those are invertebrates. A squishy snail does not have a backbone. Oh. Hold on, I better. Don't know what I did there. Oh, because that's why. All right. So for your work, I will do this here. I'll do some of this, but your follow-up work will just be to sort vertebrate versus invertebrates. So you can ask yourself, does this animal have a backbone? Yes or no? Does a snake have a backbone? We know the snake slithers, but it does have a backbone. It has a skeleton. Even though it doesn't have like arms and legs like other animals, it does have a backbone. And it is a reptile, which is one of our 5 groups of vertebrates. So we'll put the snake there. Fish. Yes, fish have backbones. A butterfly. So insects do not have a backbone. They are invertebrates. That looks like a little wormy guy. I can't see. Yep, a little caterpillar wormy guy. That is an invertebrate. We see a little sheep. A sheep is a mammal, and mammals definitely have backbones. So that is a vertebrate. Jump down here to, oh, gosh, there it is. A jellyfish. What do we think about a jellyfish? Jellyfish do not have backbones. Do dolphins? Yes. Porpoises do. Dolphins do. Starfish. Starfish do not have backbones. We have a crab here. A crab is an arthropod. It's got this hard shell on the outside, but it does not have a backbone. So it would be an invertebrate. And a cricket is an invertebrate. And we've got a bird, which is a vertebrate, and we've got another vertebrate over there. Yeah, okay. So let's talk a little bit about our 5 classes of animals. We will have more in-depth lessons coming up on each of these, but for now, let's just have a nice little overview. So fish have wet scales. They lay eggs in the water. They're cold-blooded. They live in water, and of course, they have a backbone. Amphibians, and if you remember from our great lesson, so the invertebrates came first. First it was bacteria, but the first animals were ocean animals, the sponges, and then we had, but the first animals were invertebrates. The first vertebrate life that we saw were fish. And there was lots of fish. It was the age of fish. And so those are some of the characteristics. And then there was the fish that spent some of its time in the water and out of the water, and those are amphibians. And they have moist skin. They lay jelly-coated eggs in the water. They are cold-blooded. They live on land and water, and they have a backbone. And then from there, our amphibians, there was that one guy that was like, oh, I want to spend all my time on land. And that was the age of reptiles. And they have scales, but they are dry scales. Not like wet scales like the fish have. They're dry. They lay leathery shelled eggs. They are cold-blooded and have a backbone. So we notice so far our fish, amphibians, and reptiles, they all lay eggs, right? They have scales, they have a backbone, and they're all cold-blooded. Birds do not have scales. They have feathers and hollow bones. They also lay eggs, but they have hard-shelled eggs. They are warm-blooded, and they too have a backbone. And then finally, the mammals. So mammals have hair or fur, produce milk for their babies. They give birth to live babies, not eggs. Mammals are warm-blooded and have a backbone. So here, this will also be just a very simple matching the vertebrate to the picture. One of these will not have a picture. If you notice, there are 5 labels and there are 6 pictures. So I'm not going to do that one for you. You can go back and watch through this lesson. And so one of these is not a mammal, reptile, fish, amphibian, or bird. And then finally, you will match the mammals, reptiles, amphibians, birds, and fish to the characteristic. So the one I have highlighted here says, have hair and produce milk, give birth to live offspring, no eggs, and are warm-blooded. The only animal group that can do that are the mammals. But look up the platypus. The platypus is the exception to the rule. The platypus is a mammal, but platypus is a very fascinating mammal. So I encourage you to check out the platypus, and they're cute. So I did that one for you, and you can match the other ones. So that will be your follow-up work. You're doing the vertebrate, invertebrate sort. You are matching the animal group to the picture, and then you are matching the characteristic, the description, to the animal group. I will include the slides that go over it so that you can see. But there you go. I hope you enjoyed learning more about vertebrates and invertebrates, something that we would do in the classroom, but we can't. So if you have magazines at home, I mean, this obviously is not a required piece of follow-up work, but a lot of times we'll make a huge collage of vertebrates and invertebrates by cutting out pictures in magazines. So you know that all of your insects are invertebrates. All of your sea animals, such as like sponges and jellyfish and mollusks, those shelled animals, lobsters and crabs, those are all invertebrates. Fish, however, we know are vertebrates because fish have skeletons and spines. So if you want to do that on your own, I highly encourage it. But yeah, enjoy, have fun. We'll see you next time.